You seem nervous.
No, not nervous. Just...
There's no reason for you to be nervous if you did nothing wrong.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm still being questioned after all.
You got us there, sir.
Why am I here? It's not like I know anything.
Oh, so she's back home? Well, case closed. I guess there's nothing we need to do.
Who said she's not back home?
Hold on there, sir. We're just trying to...
No, let's start right there. I mean, that's what he wants, right? How about you take us back? How'd you start working as her caretaker?
Well, I've always been a caring person, so naturally, when I heard about a request for a caretaker for a wealthy old woman, I jumped on it.
Naturally.
You're here for the job?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's make this quick. Just agree with everything she says and try to be likable. I'm not gonna lie, my mom is a lot, but the job pays well, and frankly, you're my last hope. I'm busy enough with my own kids and work. Looking after mom's going to put me over the edge. Just smile, nod, and take the money. Everybody wins, right?
Ma'am, I'm not quite sure
Mom, the nice man's here.
The very first thing I noticed was her eye, like a vulture's. It was pale blue with a glassy film over it.
Tea?
Thank you. Yes, please.
My parents lived here in this house together for 50 years before we passed, if you can believe it.
So few marriages last like that these days. You must have loved each other very much.
Want to know the secret to a long marriage?
What's that?
Keep your mouth shut. Like this house. I keep it all just the way he liked it. I don't want him coming back to complain. He did enough of that when he was alive.
Mom!
Oh no, I quite agree. Perhaps if my mother had taken that tact more often, maybe my parents would still be together.
Are you close to
No, I can't say I am. My mother is no longer living.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Don't be. She was a piece of work.
Well then, seems like you and I will get along just fine. I take it back. You want to stick me with some stranger? I'll take him. At least we'll have some laughs.
It seems like you two hit it off right from the start.
One could say that.
Sounds like you two had a lot in common.
One could say that.
Do you tend to click well with older folks, or was she an exception?
I'm sorry, how exactly is this relevant?
Who says it isn't?
I don't know, I just didn't expect...
You're stalling. Answer the question.
I never got along with my parents. I never got along with teachers either. She was different. She understood me.
What were your parents like?
Are you kidding me? You promised me better about this.
You're crazy!
Well, maybe I am, but that's besides the point. It's not like I had this kid on my own. You were home all day, and your one task was to pick him up from school. He was waiting for you for an hour before the school called me at work to come down there.
All I'm asking for is a little space. Jesus, woman!
What? More space in the 4 days you took off last week for that supposed conference you had?
You know my work comes first.
In what world does your work come first? You don't even have a job.
Of course I have a job.
Yeah? What do you do?
Nope, I'm not listening to
You
this.
heard me. What do you do for work? What do you do for work, Harry?
That's not fair. You know
Right.
that's not fair.
Nothing. You do absolutely nothing. You just sit around and drink all day. Is that seriously the example you want to set for your son? Look at him. Do you think he deserves a father like you?
He certainly doesn't deserve a mother like you.
Oh, what's that even supposed to mean?
Do you really need me to spell it out for you?
How dare you? You know what? Go drink yourself to death. We'd be better off without you.
You know what? For once, I think you've got the right idea. I'm out of here.
Fine. Run away from your problems. That's clearly the responsible, mature thing to do. And don't you ever think about coming back. Hey, how's that book? Come on, it's getting late.
Aw, but it's only 4.
The last thing I need right now is lip from you. Come on, time for bed.
But I only have 3 pages left in the chapter, and it's a great book.
Enough! I don't want to hear it. You know what? This is all your fault. None of this would have happened if you had insisted on staying after school for that practice. Go to your room. I don't want to see you until tomorrow.
Wait, But what about dinner?
Go.
I'm sorry, Mom.
That sounds tough.
Yeah, they weren't exactly parents of the year.
Did your dad ever come back?
No, he didn't.
What was it like after he was gone?
My mother was always trying to be someone she wasn't, like the picture-perfect mother. I guess she was just trying to fill the space that my dad left, but maybe she just didn't want me to end up like him.
How so?
You know what a helicopter mom is, right? She was the extreme version of that. I had to be perfect. Get perfect grades, go to the perfect schools, be perfectly respectful to everyone. Every aspect of my life was scrutinized under a microscope. And if one hair was out of line, she'd explode. It was always my fault no matter what happened. I missed the bus because the alarm went off late, my fault. A branch fell in our house because of a thunderstorm, my fault. If anything happened to mess up her day, it was my fault.
Do you remember any specific examples?
Yeah, there was this one day a few years after my dad left.
Dinner! Unless you want it cold, you'll hustle. You think you could at least show up on time after I spent hours making this for you. I see you're prepared to contribute some invigorating conversation to our meal this evening. So, how was your day?
Great.
Oh, I'm gonna need more than that.
It wasn't a great day. It was actually a terrible day.
Well, any terrible day can be made into a good day if you just apply yourself.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was dining with my estranged husband tonight.
What are you talking about?
What specifically happened today?
Some kids were picking on me again
And why is that?
because of my clothes.
Well, that's your fault. You clearly warranted the attention.
Well, I don't find my clothes.
Are you insinuating that it's my fault you can't make friends?
Maybe.
Wow, how ungrateful can you be? I raised you. I gave you a roof over your head and clothes on your back, and you throw it back at my face because it's not good enough? You know what? You're exactly like your father.
I didn't mean it like that.
You just never think before you speak. You need to realize the impact of your words and take responsibility for yourself. Now, what do you say to me? Remember, I'm the only mom you'll ever get.
I'm sorry, Mom.
That's what I thought. On a more important note, did you talk to your teacher about that math grade?
Not yet, but I've got it under control.
No, you clearly don't. Do you think any college worth its salt is looking for a kid who gets B pluses? I don't think so.
I doubt a college will be looking at my 7th grade math quiz.
Every test matters. Every quiz matters. Every assignment matters. Period.
For the last time, I don't need you breathing down my neck all the time. College is like a million years away. Besides, I'm not sure if that's what I want to do anyway.
Oh no, you're going to college. Only failures don't go to college. Like your father. Do you really want to turn out more like him than you already are?
Mom, you're seriously overreacting. And besides, it's not like B plus is a bad grade.
I can't believe you.
After that, I tried to keep a level head, but how could I when every conversation was a minefield?
Just wondering. You don't happen to have any specific information about how she died, do you?
Now suggesting that I killed her?
Did you?
Do you hear that tapping?
All right. Why don't we jump back into your relationship with your employer? What happened after you were hired?
Well, I worked for her for years.
And?
And as time passed, I guess I grew to like the gig. Sure, she may have been abrasive and stubborn, but I felt incredibly comfortable around her. We felt kind of like family at times.
again. I didn't even see that coming.
That's because you weren't looking, as usual.
She was always talking about how she never lived long enough to teach me how to be a decent chess player.
No, don't talk like that. You have so...
What I have is no one since Harvey.
What about your daughter?
That good for nothing hussy pawned me off as soon as she had the chance. As far as I'm concerned, you have just as much right to my estate as she does. More than she does, in fact. At least you stuck around. That's exactly what I'll do. I'll cut her out completely. Too bad I'll be too dead to see the look on her face when she finds out. Can you imagine?
I don't know what to say.
Say you'll gladly take my money.
I guess I'll gladly take your money.
Okay, and I'll gladly get the papers in order.
Thank you, ma'am, for everything.
Don't mention it, kid.
And then what?
Well, things continued just like before.
Did she actually write you into her will?
And I don't know, maybe she was in bad shape. The doctor says she had a couple months, maybe less. Do you seriously not hear that sound?
So she couldn't pull it together to immediately draft a new will and then conveniently drop dead?
No, that's not what I meant.
Would you say that her prolonged state of being alive was a nuisance to you?
Of course not. It was just my luck is all.
I'm sorry, come again?
It was just my luck is all. It just said that figures the first time I had a shot at the good life, it would just be out of reach.
I see.
No, that came out wrong. I'm sorry. It's just that waiting 10 years on money like that would make any sane person go crazy. Not that I'm crazy, it would make any hypothetical person go crazy. Day in and day out, taking care of the old woman, especially with that eye of hers.
Her eye?
Yeah, she had this look. Like she was gazing into your soul. Like her eyes saw more of you than you would ever see of yourself. Every thought, every idea. I'm not crazy.
Of course you're not.
Can't you hear that sound? That heartbeat or something?
Sir, there's no sound. Why don't you just continue where you left off? The conversation about the estate. That was what, the couple months after you started working for her? What happened then? You said you were like family.
Yeah, we were. It was the first time since my mom died that I didn't have to worry about having a roof over my head. Yeah, I took care of her, but she took me in. She gave me a job. She was probably the closest I ever got to having a real mom.
Go on.
I've already told you everything I know.
We need you to walk us all the way through your relationship with her. You never know what might help us find her.
This is ridiculous. I have no idea where she is.
Sir, you'd be amazed at how the smallest detail can turn into the ultimate lead.
What happened after she said she'd put you in her will?
10 years happened.
And?
It's exhausting taking care of somebody day in and day out like that, year after year. Because of her condition, I hardly got any days off. The only times I could be by myself were during her afternoon naps or when her daughter decided to make an appearance.
Would you care to describe those times in detail?
I'm sorry, you don't really hear that noise.
Sir, just answer the question.
I got really good at being quiet. She was a light sleeper, and any noise I would have made would have woken her up, meaning I could go kiss my alone time goodbye.
So there wasn't much you could do. How'd you pass the time?
Primarily reading, and a few other things.
Hey, kid! Where are you?
I'm here.
Then bring me some water. I'm not paying you to sit around, you know? I'm thirsty.
Right away. One more day of this, I swear.
Would it kill you to put some pep in that step of yours? Must I remind you that I might drop dead at any moment? I don't have all day, you know?
All you do is sit around all day, every day.
Hey, I can write you out of my will anytime I want.
Fine by me. And I won't have to keep this job as your personal water boy.
Yeah. Now where's my chessboard?
I'll grab it. If I ever play another game of chess, I swear.
What was that?
Nothing, just thinking about my strategy.
Oh, please. What strategy? You'll never beat me. It's why I always pick chess. It's a game you'll never win.
How about we play something new tomorrow? Something more fair.
Who's to say I'll even be here tomorrow?
Where else would you be?
Dead stupid.
God, I hope so. Alright?
Water.
It's on the table.
What were you mumbling about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You were mumbling. While you poured the water, as you grabbed the chessboard? Mumbling the whole time. Now you can't even remember what you were mumbling about?
Oh, that. I told you I was strategizing for a game of chess. That sound, it's getting louder. Can't you hear it?
I see.
Are you telling me that mumbling's illegal now?
No. I'm telling you that your story doesn't make sense. This was just 2 days ago, and this woman was confined to a single chair. You sat by her side constantly, and yet she disappears without you noticing? I'm giving you the chance to explain yourself, and here you are giving me this crap about not knowing anything and not remembering anything. She had no relationships except for a daughter who visited twice a month. And you, who sat by her side every day and lived in her house. She couldn't walk, let alone run, and yet you're completely baffled when she disappears without a trace. Forgive me if I'm struggling to determine the chain of events in this missing persons case.
Are you suggesting I'm keeping something from you? I told you I have no idea where she is. She was like family. I wouldn't do anything to hurt
All right,
her.
what about your mother?
She was hit by a truck.
I see.
We're just collecting details.
This was years ago.
You never know what might be relevant.
Right.
Tell us about that day.
No thanks.
Tell us about that day.
We were walking down the street on the way to meet my new math tutor. But my shoelace was undone, so I bent down to tie it.
What are you thinking? You're in the
She
middle.
lays into me as usual.
I swear, if you can't even
Like I can't even
understand
walk in a
stop
straight
in the
line
middle of the
without
road, I don't know what I'm
something
going to do with you. Seriously.
Haven't warned for her, I wouldn't even make it to high school.
Out of the way. And for what? For tying your shoe?
She just kept going
At least keep your
on
head
and
up so you can
on.
see what's coming.
Then she was gone. Like I said, that was years ago.
Why don't we just take a step back for a second and you can expand more on her eye. Sir?
I thought I could get away.
I'm sorry.
It followed me everywhere. Follows me.
We're gonna need a bit more than that, sir.
I couldn't stand it anymore. It was unnatural. Wrong.
Do you think you could describe the eye for us?
Cold.
And?
No. No, you're not gonna make me do this. I'll tell you anything you want, but not that, please.
Why don't you just take your seat and we can talk through all of this nice and calm? We don't want to keep you much longer. We know you have a vigil to plan.
Stop. No, I have to go. She's in my head. In my head!
No, you have to stay here until we're done talking. Tell us about the day she died. Tell us about the day you killed her.
She was struggling with pneumonia, but I knew she'd recover as good as new. I was reading as usual, quiet as a church mouse. She'd been asleep for a while, but I knew she'd wake up soon enough. All I ever wanted was a few moments to myself. A few moments without having to stare at that eye of hers. I don't know. That day in particular, it all just felt so unbelievably hopeless. Something needed to change. I spent the week plotting my plan, It was really an impressive plan. You've got to understand, there was no end in sight. Honestly, you would be impressed by the precision and care with which I carried out my plan. She was sick and miserable anyway, so I figured I'd be doing her and her daughter a favor. I ground up sleeping pills and put them in her water that afternoon, so when it came time for her afternoon nap, there'd be no problem keeping her silent. I waited half an hour until she fell asleep to ensure she was going to stay that way. Then I rose from my seat and approached her ever so slowly, ever so carefully. I lifted the pillow off the porch's couch, then I pressed it against her face. It was over. We were waiting.
So you felt a sense of relief?
Only for the moment. I still had to dispose of the body.
You...
Dismembered her in the bathtub. Living in that house for 10 years did prove quite useful in the end. I found some loose floorboards, perfect for storing knickknacks, big enough for storing body parts. So that's what I did. An arm in the kitchen, a leg in the bathroom, her heart below where the rocking chair stood. The perfect crime.
Until now?
Why did you do it? Was it only about the money?
Yes, I wanted the money, but what I wanted more was to be done with that eye. I couldn't bear it anymore. At first it was fine, chilling, but fine. As time went on, I couldn't handle it any longer. I needed to regain control of my life again, and the first step was getting rid of that eye. I don't regret what I've done. In fact, I'm proud of it. Closing that eye was the best thing I've ever done.
Murder for the sake of your own selfish interests is the best thing you've ever done?
More like murder for the sake of freedom.
Sure, if you consider a lifetime sentence freedom.
What? I told you the truth. I cooperated like you asked. That means less time, right?
Who told you that? You smothered a poor, defenseless old woman who never did anything to harm you or anyone.
No, you don't understand. Her eye, you didn't see her.
Take him away.
What? No, I told you what I know. Let me go. I can't be expected to rot in prison like an animal, like a criminal. She was like family. No, stop. No, get out of my head.